later in the afternoon, man, like it turns from like ASAP Rocky to like some other like fucking just trap music, man. The stuff you don't expect to hear inside like the dealership. But
well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You don't want normal people fixing your shit.
no, I mean normal people can't handle the stress of anybody normal and reasonable wouldn't want to do that job.
No, definitely not. All right, let's start this thing.
Let's do it, man.
I don't know if I should do an intro, a regular intro, or a separate one later.
I mean, I guess however you want to do
Edit it in. This is the Built for These podcast number 2. With I don't know if I should say what I call you on the podcast. All right, I'm gonna say this for the 3rd time in my life. Bryant Young. And it might be the first time I said that not in your grandfather's voice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not lying there. It's actually weird to hear it.
Yeah, no, that's freaky. That's enough. That's the last time I want to say that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wrote some notes here. Yeah, how did we... we became friends. You know, I was thinking about how we became friends today. And, like, I was like, oh, bikes, you know? Obviously, riding bikes.
Yeah.
Skate park. And then for some reason, I remembered your AOL screen name.
Oh, my God.
BMX Guru.
Yeah, 269, which is just BMX again.
Oh, yeah.
It was just awful.
Children these days wouldn't even know that, yeah.
No.
That's great. And then I think about your greasy, like, Nick Cannon hair. Was it, like, Nick Cannon hair?
I don't know. It wasn't... Remember... Because he's got more of that Jerry curl thing kind of going on. It was...
it was just hanging out. Yeah. Nappy guy hair.
Yeah.
But it was greasy.
It wasn't really
nappy hair.
Yeah, it was like a weird mix between like just like a rat's nest that you see on...
It used to float nicely whenever you did a trick. It would flop up and down.
Yeah, it was great. It was great in those days.
You grew up in the hood, right? On the border of the hood. You grew up...
Border of the hood.
Across the street from the hood.
Yeah, but started off in the hood.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where did you live before you lived across from the skate park?
In the projects there on Elkhorn Drive.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it wasn't the village. The village was way worse. So it was like village was number 1. My projects were like number 2. So that's where like the softer hood kids were. Apparently, a bunch of my hood friends are in jail.
It's never good when you mix Spanish people and Russians together in a poor neighborhood.
No, not at all, not at all. Heavy Hispanic community. There's a lot of gold chains, a lot of Heinekens. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, they knew how to party, man. They were all friendly people.
A lot of really white people with gold chains.
Yeah. It was very diverse. I'll give it that.
I always write these notes and I just don't understand what the fuck I was saying. Where do you work now? God, it's so hard not to say your name.
That's all right.
Oh, man.
Screw it.
This is not professional.
Everybody at work knows what I used to be called.
Where do you work? What do you do?
Oh, yeah. Work at BMW West Springfield. Technician there. Been there.
Is that no, that's not a police, right?
No. It's owned by the Jangris Motor Car Group.
What else do they own?
They got a Chrysler Jeep Dodge store. They have 2 Volvo stores. And their Volvo store, I think, is like actually one of the best in the country.
Where's that? Connecticut?
Yeah, down in Connecticut. I think it's
you don't see
I want to say it's New Haven.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I think there's one in New Haven. For the life of me, I can't think of where the other one is right now. I feel like an idiot. So I was just down here the other day. So we got the Volvo store. What the hell else do we got? We're in the process of acquiring a Ford, Lincoln, and a Volvo store, or a Volkswagen store. We have a Honda store up in New Hampshire.
Is yours the only BMW that they own?
We are the only BMW that they own. The other BMW is owned by the New Country Group.
That's so weird because like most places around here that own multiple dealerships, it's all in the same franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
right?
actually...
I mean, which makes sense, but they own one of every... That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, they've owned a couple different brands over the years, too. I mean, the company's history, I mean, you know, the owners there, like, they're very in touch with their company, so they always come in willing to share knowledge and whatnot. But they actually, their grandfather, I believe, actually started with Ford Motor Group.
Jesus.
He had his own dealership. He was one of the first in the country.
Really?
So
to buy a franchise or open
to
a
be
franchise?
given a franchise.
Oh,
really?
really?
You know, like they had to get off the ground and running. You know, Ford Motor Group as a company itself back in the day. You know, so it's kind of
Isn't
cool
it
to
so
see
weird
those
that that was
guys.
only like 100 years ago? Isn't it so weird?
Man,
That's so bizarre.
It's so weird when you look back, because man, like you can see some of those cars on the road today still. You know, if you go to a show, you see one, you're like, you see that, and then
That
you
was
see,
literally the beginning.
yeah. Then you Google
Yeah.
Lamborghini, and you're just
Yeah.
going, how the hell did that become that?
And now I know the same stuff that surgeons are required to know to work on the fucking cars.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
But they also used to give you cocaine for medicine back then, so
Yeah, they
I guess
sure did.
everything's evolved, right?
They still do that in South America. Certain place, high altitude. It's actually how you avoid altitude sickness by thinning the blood out with the cocaine.
I mean,
But you consume the leaf whole. I don't know why I know that.
Oh, they chew on the
Grand
leaves.
Tour,
Yeah,
the Grand
yeah,
Tour, that's why.
Yeah, they chew on. No, they chew on the leaves. They
Yeah.
don't do cocaine.
Yeah, they're not out there to blow
It's
lines.
completely different.
Yeah, it's not Wolf of Wall Street or something out there.
Fucking poor people chewing on the leaves. You're saying they're doing blow up in the mountain.
There's big difference. Big difference.
I think you're mistaken.
Sounds better one way though.
Briefly tell me your story from start to beginning, or
Start to begin.
start to finish.
Like just
Cars, man.
car wise.
Yeah. Starting with. Well, what forced you into going to school? Did something force you?
So yeah,
Something forced you,
I
didn't it?
had an interest, but I definitely got. I would say my hand was forced, but I also had a friend who was giving some strong encouragement for me to make a change, and it all started where we had I was previously working at a bike and ski shop.
Oh yeah. I always forget about that.
Which I loved. You know, it was a huge part of. It was almost like living a culture, living a lifestyle. I really enjoyed it, but I ended up getting a boss that really made it terrible for me, and I just hated the guy. And I mean,
That's the thing about a job that you don't make money at. It's okay as long as you like it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. The moment it's not fun anymore.
I was super happy making $13 an hour, and
Yeah.
I had my Volkswagen then, and it was great. But he made me so miserable that I started looking into going to school for something. And at the time, it's like the only interest I had was cars, and started really with the Volkswagen, modifying it, getting it to shoot fire, and doing basically hood rat shit with my
Bang,
friends.
bang.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But and then a good friend of mine, Dave Drury, I'll give him big credit for that. He
Dave?
pushed me huge. Irish Dave,
Yeah.
Rad Dad.
I thought somebody that was already in that school was trying to get you to go.
No. That actually happened later. Somebody in that school was trying to get me to come back to be an instructor there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Once they found out I was working for Porsche, they were trying to recruit me hard to come in.
So anyways, you went there because you decided that was the only other thing you liked besides bikes
that
and
was
shit.
the only other thing, and I got there, and it kind of clicked. Just like bikes. Just wanted to do it, and for some reason it was easy for me to learn. I didn't mind it.
Did you think, because I remember like years ago, far before I was ever an actual mechanic, I remember telling people the only way I'd ever be a mechanic was if I worked at a dealership, because all the resources, stuff's laid out for you, everyone already knows what they're talking about. Did you think when you were in school that you were going to work in a dealership?
Yeah, once I kind of made the decision to go to automotive school, the dealership was the goal, because to me that was like the best training, being on the forefront of technology, and I always like to kind of get challenged by it and trying to keep up with it. Especially with German cars always kind of being the main focus of my interest. So the goal was to always be in a dealership. I didn't necessarily know I was always going to end up in one. I tried to venture out from it one time.
When?
Right after I left Porsche and I moved back home, I was,
Oh, you had applied at a few different...
Yeah, I applied at a few places. I had a couple
that.
months off, and I was hanging out and enjoying myself for a bit. But there was one place that really kind of got my attention, but it ultimately, I'm glad I didn't make the decision to go there. But I don't think it would have been a good fit for me. But the cars they worked on were freaking sweet.
So, what did you do straight from school? You did
Right into Audi.
Father and Sons?
Yeah.
Audi, and you were there for a while, right?
Yeah, like a little over 2 years. Because I started off there part-time after, I was like 6 months into automotive school, and they hired me. I would literally leave school a half hour early. The instructors would give me credit as if I had a full day, and they wouldn't penalize me for it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
And they would
that.
let me go to Audi, and I'd get there for like 12:15, and I would work till about 5:30,
That's
and then I
beautiful.
worked every single Saturday, just so I could keep getting a paycheck.
That's solid.
And it was great. I mean, it was a good place to kind of cut my teeth. They really did kind of like, once I was full time, they really did kind of throw me to the wolves and let me have at it. And it was a good place. I mean, they were generous in the fact that I was able to make mistakes and they didn't like crucify me for it. And, they definitely helped in the development of it. Especially on those cars. I mean, I think they were so difficult to work on.
The Audis?
Yeah, even looking back at them now, I'm like, man, why did I do that? They're so much harder.
You think so?
100%. I mean, after going from there to Porsche, where most things are race cars and they just come apart. It's just modular. Everything's...
Yeah, that's true. Audi's a comfort vehicle.
Yeah, it's much more, much more technology involved. It's much more intricate.
That's crazy. Did your Volkswagen survive all of school, or did it...
No, it got T-boned while I was at school.
While you were at school?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks before graduating.
Oh,
You got taken out by a stoner who was very much lost while passing somebody in the breakdown lane. But he...
I didn't know stoners knew how to pass people. I didn't think that was in their DNA.
Oh, this guy did it right in the shoulder. And,
that's alarming.
Took me right out.
Oh.
And, yeah.
That was 2 minutes from home?
Yeah, 2 minutes from home.
If that.
I could literally still see the school. And I still had to pay the $100 hook fee just to have the car start up 2 minutes later. And I could have limped it over there. Which,
fantastic.
Yeah, that was great for a kid with no money.
Yeah, in school.
Looking at his automotive school, dude,
Yeah.
anybody can just pull me with their car, but
Yeah.
cops are involved and everything like that. So I didn't really have much say in the matter. It was just,
That's so fun.
a little bit of GFY, I guess.
How did you end up going... Your foreman or something at Audi ended up pulling you down to Porsche, right?
It wasn't my foreman. He was actually a guy who was one of 2 Porsche technicians. They're dedicated Porsche technicians. And he was a gold level technician, which was it still is the highest level certification that Porsche grants a technician. I think there's about 500 in the United States total.
Oh man.
So it's a big deal to be one of those guys. And he moved down to Greenwich, Connecticut, and started with a company or dealer network, New Country Motor Car Group, which is massive. I mean, they
what are they on?
Everything.
All luxury shit?
No, I mean literally
just everything.
Everything from here, New York. I mean, all the way down to Florida. I mean, they've got, you name it, they got it. If it's Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bugatti, they've got it somewhere, somehow, some shape or form. They own it. So he was down there for a while, and he kept talking to me about all this money he was making, and he would send me screenshots of his paychecks.
But he wasn't telling you about the money he was spending.
Yeah, he wasn't telling me about the money he was spending. That became a real shock, man. I mean, shit, groceries were double the price. I mean, everything was basically double.
That's all right, though. You did a lot of learning down there, though.
Ton of
right?
learning, man. If it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be as good of a tech as I am now. Just kind of it really opened my eyes to the ins and outs of the industry, the intricate nature of being a technician, the value of knowledge and knowing how something works rather than just being a guy who, takes a part out, puts a part in. It really allowed me to think, Porsche is a heavy diagnostic brand.
Yeah. But they give you the resources and the
100%.
training and all that. And
100%. And the customer base is incredible too, man. I mean, you got people who are passionate about their cars. They want to take care of their cars. They give a shit.
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing. I mean, if you
they're not people that complain about the cost of a synthetic oil change.
Yeah. They're not worried about the oil change money.
Yeah.
Versus if you have a Hyundai Elantra just to get back and forth to school or something these are people who want to get out on the track, do track days, experience it, and Porsche's got a really long history. They're I think the most winning manufacturer in motorsports. I mean, the training that they put you through too, just to get in the door is was
they were sending
intensive.
you to where were they sending you? Pennsylvania.
Easton, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
And I believe I think the training center was in Easton, but it was basically adjacent to Bethlehem, PA.
You went there a few times, right?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was at my dealership for 4 years, and they never sent me anywhere.
That's awful.
Isn't that crazy? Well, we're talking about 2 different ends of the spectrum, dealership-wise.
Still, I mean, as far as a dealership is concerned, though, a trained technician's a better technician.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but some people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm now self-employed.
100%. I don't blame you. I mean, I love going to training. Anytime I can jump at the opportunity, to go down. I mean, for now, now it's like I get to go down to Montvale, New Jersey, which is only like a short 2-hour drive.
Yeah, that is not. It's a straight shot.
And
nice
it's a wonderful facility too, man. I mean, you name it, they got it. From instructors, there's engineers there that you literally see. I mean, we get like monthly roundtable videos and updates. I mean, they really do.
What's a roundtable video?
It's just what they call like an information, like a monthly informational video. So it like just kind of keeps you up to date on any new bulletins coming out, any issues
weird
they're
stuff
seeing,
going on,
weird
to
stuff
look
going
out for.
on,
Yeah.
like if they've released an update to the diagnostic software, it kind of helps you stay on the edge of it, and you learn a lot from those videos. But it's great when you see those same engineers down there. So if you want to pick their brain when you're down there as a technician, you get to pick their brain. It's the same place. They have a program called STEP, where like if you go to UTI and you want to go into like a manufacturer-specific program, that would be the program you would step into. So
I can't even
they've
imagine.
got those kids down there, man. I mean, they're learning on those cars.
How much easier I think about how much easier my life would have been if I went to school and then went to a school specific to a brand, then went to a dealership. Can you imagine what a walk in the park that would be?
I've worked with guys who've done it. My buddy who got me to go down to Porsche, Preston, he did it, but he was also like, you have to be brilliant really to get into that Porsche program. But
I imagine
one of my other friends that I met once I was down at New Country, Porsche in Greenwich, he came out basically as a silver tech, very, book smart kind of guy, in relation to Porsche, but he lacked the hands-on experience. So there's still a struggle there. But I mean, in the long run, if they can put that knowledge, forth, into the car, they have a huge, huge, huge advantage.
That's so crazy. Do you think? So like me, like obviously from like hobbies and shit, I knew how to work on stuff enough to slither my way into the dealership. I showed up at the right place at the wrong time for them, and they hired me, and then I learned just by doing.
Yeah.
And that's it. And just working with the lead tech. They parked me next to him, and I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, every other tech in the building was asking me questions. And I was the least certified person there because they wouldn't send me to get certified for anything or anything like that, or pay me to do any certifications or anything along those lines. But I learned by doing. Do you think it's better? Do you think it's better if someone goes to like Porter and Chester like you did, and then does a working program like you did, and then goes to a dealership? Or do you think it's better if they're just like, start as the oil change guy and work your way up? I feel like you need to have someone mentoring you, like a lead tech, and not you can't bank on every dealership having a guy that's gonna set aside time to help you like that.
You definitely can't too, because every dealership's got like its own individual culture. Some environments are a lot more difficult than others, where guys don't help other techs. It's more, even like, I'm in a friendly, competitive environment, but I've seen environments where, there's just no friendliness to it. It's just make money. If you're asking me for help, you're taking away from my wallet, and I don't have time to help guys like you.
Well, in certain situations, they have to act like that because 100%. The people running the place aren't doing it correctly, so they have to make sure they're there for themselves first.
Yeah, a lot of technicians are out there with, no guarantee. If you're a really good flat
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
It's the only industry in the world that you can work for a week and they don't have to pay you.
100%.
Isn't that? And you can't claim unemployment. Like if you have a bust week and you only got 20 hours, you can't claim another 40 hours.
You also can't claim yourself as a contractor, which is like almost in a lot of ways. It's like,
that would be if I could be like a contractor, I would still be at a dealership if I could claim as a contractor.
Because
or maybe I wouldn't, because other people would still have an effect on me getting my job done.
I don't know about you. I know you have this huge investment now. After you left the dealership. As I sit right now, with tools and a toolbox. I've got to be $40,000 deep. That's a hell of an investment.
Yeah, I got a decent amount here, but it's nothing. Yeah,
nothing outrageous in terms. I know guys who are $100,000 deep, and they're
you
still
compare
just guys in the dealer.
This day and age, any successful career requires
some sort of investment.
A student loan payment. It requires tons of continuing education.
100%.
Luckily as a technician, your work helps you with the continuing education. You just got to keep your tools up and your
100%.
You know,
it all goes hand in hand.
care for the job up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, if you're better off kind of starting off as sort of I guess that like backyard mechanic type where you just learn by doing. I mean, there's definitely a huge value to that, but there's also a value to guys who can be taught out of a book and learn theory. Learn.
There's so much I learned at the dealership that had nothing to do with working on cars, like just not like literally the wrenching, but like the system of things.
100%.
You know what I mean?
How to make notes.
Yeah, how to make notes,
things,
how to properly go through things, and then explain what you did to somebody else.
Exactly.
Whether it be a service advisor, the customer.
It's a huge part of it too, especially as a customer. You don't want to like go pick up your car if you've had some major work or major problem, resolved, and you got like 8 words there. Like you want an explanation as to what happened.
And that's another thing. If you're just at a mom and pop shop, the only thing you're held accountable to is somebody's dollar. But when you're at a dealership, you're held accountable by the manufacturer of why you replaced that part, why they were paying for it, or what was wrong with the customer's car, and they just need to know what was wrong with it.
100%.
And you're held accountable for the hours you're being paid for.
100%.
And I think that's important because even now, like, I work for myself now, and a lot of times my customers are like, why are you so thorough with the way you explain stuff? And I'm just like, that's what I learned to do, and you're totally understanding of what's going on by the time I'm done explaining it to you. And it's here, it's written, it's in paper, it's on your paperwork.
Yeah.
And, you can take that there's some times where I work on stuff and I get to a point where I'd like to send them to the dealership, and I tell them, I say, make sure you bring my paperwork that I wrote you to the dealership and give it to them. Make sure the technician gets it because he's going to need to know exactly what I wrote. And they read it and they're like, I don't understand this. I'm like, trust me, the mechanic will understand it. Get it to them. And they'll call me. They'll be like, they charged me an hour less diag because of those notes you gave. Like, thank you. And I'm like, hey, that's why I sent you there.
It's awesome.
I got it to the point where I didn't, I knew it needed to go there. And,
I wish more outside shops did it that way. Because, we don't see a lot of cars where they go through an outside shop and then they come to us for a problem.
With diag notes.
That almost never happens,
because it comes down to the dollar, man. It's just like, I don't want to base my business off of just selling parts, man. I don't want that.
Well, it's important to build a relationship. You want a person to trust you. You can't just look, have your client come in and be like, well, how far into his pocket can I get? It's like,
yeah, that's
man,
crazy.
Dude, that's a bad relationship. Anything that starts like that can't go well in the end. And if it's a new customer too who comes in the door and they're screaming and yelling at you, it's like, man, it's if you can turn it around, that's a great thing. But usually, if it starts like that, it's never gonna end well. And you still have that accountability. Everybody now has a voice. Like, you can leave a Google review. You can write an email.
Oh my God, yeah.
You get company surveys. We send out 2 surveys at our dealership. A BMW survey that every single BMW customer, regardless if you're in warranty, if your car is 15 years old, if your car is within 20 years of its production date, you're going to get a survey. Yeah. BMW wants to know what it was like.
Which is great.
It helps going forward, and it keeps everybody honest, though, too, man. It keeps everybody accountable because it puts it right out there on the surface, it's having a customer's trust is a huge, huge part of it.
You know what the worst thing is, like, customers that you're a little higher end up, so you don't see the lower end customers, but like sometimes. Twice now, I've been open for a year, so twice now I've had a customer come to me and be like, I brought it to this other shop, and they said this, and that, and I just don't trust them, so it's here now. And I've looked at the customer, and I'm like, so what am I going to say that's going to make you trust me? Like, well, why are you here? You already... I said, tell me what the other shop said, and I'll say, yeah, no, that sounds very accurate, that they said that. And they're still like, well, I don't trust them. I'm like, well, yeah, what are you doing here? You gotta.
That's it. They wanna.
And I feel like with the higher end up cars, maybe you don't deal with that as much. I got a specialty shop, so I don't deal with it that much. But I think it's regular shops, man. They must deal with that so much.
I don't have to deal with it. on a day-to-day basis, or even a week-to-week basis, but like our client advisors, the people who are right there dealing with the customers, they're the first ones to greet the customers.
Yeah.
Like they might deal with it a lot more. I mean, I for sure know that it happens where like we'll get stuff and the note will be, client recently had vehicle at an outside shop.
Yeah.
We might get some information out the customer just kind of verbally relays to us. But there's no concrete notes. It's like you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because they're just relaying information that was relayed to them in some cases, and it's not always clear what's going on with the vehicle.
That was like one of my major issues with working at the dealership is like no matter how thorough I was with my job, my message never got to the customer the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Or at all sometimes. And it's like, why did I work so hard just to have you sell them the part that I told them they didn't need yet?
It's crazy. And a lot of dealers, well, I should actually say through the industry, it's like there's a lot of unqualified individuals, maybe not even that they're unqualified, but certainly undertrained.
Oh, yeah.
Undertrained individuals where they just don't understand the value, the importance of translating that message clearly and accurately, or they just simply don't care because for them it's about,
I think they
at
just
that
don't
front
care.
desk, it's a dollar amount thing for them.
Yeah, they just don't
they need
care.
to hit their numbers, and I think any company that doesn't put a client first, doesn't put their concern first and make the money second is, you're not bound to fail, but you're definitely bound to have a lot more friction with your customer base.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put your customers' concerns first.
I had this farmer once. I was working on his truck, and something happened where I diagnosed his truck, and I kind of like said there was a cheaper way to do it, or he didn't have to do something that would save him money, or even he didn't even have to do the repair at all yet. But the message by the time it got to him was he needed to spend $5,000 on his truck. And he came out to talk to me, just to talk to me. But I gave him my rundown. I was like, man, you don't really need to fix it like this. You could do this, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the conversation, he was happy. And he goes, you know what? All right, have a good day. I'm going to go out front. I think I'm going to buy my wife a new car. And he left. He paid cash. He bought his wife a new car that day. All I was honest with that guy. It's all people want, man. It's like...
yeah, nobody wants to go in and be diseased. Also, too, it's... for a lot of us, like, we're also, customers of the industry. It's like, yes, I'm a technician. Yes, I can fix my own car. But, for the most part in my life, like, I've had cars that weren't related to the manufacturer I was working on. And you have to go in for a recall, or you go in for a warranty issue, or if it's just... you can't figure it out, you have to drop it off. And like as technicians, like we know our cars super well. Like, they were trying to sell me brakes, and I was like,
they don't know. Yeah, they don't know.
I'm like, I know. Like, and the upsetting thing though was like, I went in and I was wearing a New Country Porsche shirt. I told the guy I told the guy that I was a technician.
Yeah.
I literally showed up at this dealership with a referral from another technician that I worked with at Porsche, who used to work at this Toyota dealership.
Oh my God.
He told me the technician to ask for, that he was a super thorough guy. And he was. I mean, the work that was performed, I have no issue with the work that was performed.
But the service guy was still trying to upsell you and shit.
The service guy was still trying to upsell me on shit.
Dude, what are you
and I'm
doing,
like, I'm going,
man?
hey, man, we had this conversation, and as soon as I told him I was a technician, he got, it was a very abrasive thing where it was he didn't really care about my time. He thought I was wasting his. I was like, no, man, I'm really here to get my car sorted out, and I know it's under warranty. Let's just both be, folks that are in the industry, and let's move forward as such. Like, just be plain and honest with me, And it was weird, even though I brought honesty to the table, and it was very straightforward with him. It was like he didn't like it.
That's so weird.
It was strange.
I feel like there's this weird tension with a lot of service writers that it's a challenge of their manhood that they're not actually working on cars, but they're supposed to know about cars.
Yes.
So they claim, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where they feel like they need to be like, yeah, I work on cars. It's like, no, man, that's not your job.
Yeah. Well,
your job's to talk to customers.
A lot. And for the service advisors that are out there, man, that have wrench experience, I think that's invaluable. It's a huge part of it.
I wouldn't know. I've never had one that had wrenching experience. Real. And not just wrenching experience, but servicing customers' cars and when things need to be done and when they don't 100%. Need to be done. And, coming up with a plan for the lifetime of that car with that customer. They just don't care.
Yeah,
they just don't care.
It's tough. I'm lucky in the sense that, you know, where I am now, I work with a really passionate group of individuals.
Yeah,
we got guys
awesome,
who are
man.
autocrossing. We got guys who are just lifelong BMW fans. You know, we've got advisors who have turned wrenches in the past, and you know, the role they're in now kind of just fit them better. But I mean, I'm so lucky to, you know, have a group of guys around me like that. It really makes my job easier because I send through that quote. I mean, I've got notes on it like, it's seeping, not a priority. This is severe. You got to get to it.
Yeah.
This is a safety item. This is priority number 1.
Yeah.
You know, and they relay that information back. I mean, and the customer sees it. I put in the same notes when I fill out that multi-point, which is exactly what the customer sees. And it's plain as, you know, day.
Oh, see,
It's
that's
crystal
beautiful.
clear.
The system I was working with, the customer never saw my notes at all.
Oh, no. I have my notes. I have notes on a parts quote. I have notes in, you know, our system. We have like what's called REQ, where I electronically store the same notes, which goes back to like our, we call it like BDC. So like they'll call you back after you've been there, you know, maybe like 30 days later, and they'll just do a follow up like, hey, you know, how was your experience? Do you want to set up another appointment to, you know, do any of the recommended items, you know, at your previous visit? You know, and then you have the multi-point sheet, and then even on the electronic RO, when it gets printed out to the customer, I have notes on a whole nother line again, and it's just a duplicate. So it's just reiterated multiple times.
Dude, do you know how much it throws off my customers when I call them to follow up on stuff? I got a little list I put down. If I let a customer leave here with something that their car needed, I'll write down when they left, and a month later, I write down a date to text them or call them, and they're usually like just blown away. They don't even know what to say to me.
Well, it's huge. I mean, I think most people have this experience or this relationship, you know, with going to dealerships, going to repair shops, and the idea is like, get you in, get your money, get out. We don't care. That's done. It's done at that point. I mean, that's not the way to. It's not the way to move forward. I mean, these people have lives, you know, like so. Yeah, like one of the things that was really hard for me. I worked at a Hyundai dealer for a short while. I won't name the one because it was a very negative experience for me. I don't want to put anybody, you know, under, paint them in a bad light. I think there was some good people there too, you know, and there was some good ideas in place and whatnot. But I mean, I watched a lot of people get taken advantage of in some cases, or they kind of just omitted some of the details, or they made it seem a little bit more severe. And I've never been a guy like that. A lot of that customer base, you know, is like fixed income, older folks.
It's the only place where you can buy a winter beater brand new.
Out the gate, get that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You're gonna need it. I guarantee that.
That winter beater's got brand new tires. Got that new car smell.
Comes with a fresh detail and everything. Congratulations. But man, it's like I've always been uncomfortable with like taking advantage of people, especially financially, man. It's just not right. Like, you know, you got somebody who might be trying to make a decision between, you know, can I afford my medication or do I make this huge repair that I may or may not really need?
Yeah.
You know, like I might have time to set that money aside, you know, and for me, it always brought me back to, like, I remember my grandfather going to dealerships all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a low mile, the thing never had more than 10,000 miles on it. And he had always had all these recommendations for tires, and you need a balance and alignment. And I'm like, I have to, he'd call me and go, hey, like, you got to come down here and see this. I'm like, all right, I'd go down. I'm like, tell him, man, you don't need any of this shit. Like, don't spend a dime. And I'm like, you know, they just see an old guy who's like willing to probably, you know, swipe his credit card and be like,
hit him with the service.
Right. I just want it to be right, and you know, upsell this service, get that service. It's like, why does a car with 10,000 miles that's a year old, or I'm sorry, 3,000 miles a year old, need a fuel injector cleaning service? Oh man, it's a modern vehicle here, man.
Dude, speaking of fuel injector cleaning service, well, I guess I'm just relating to the chemical you would use, but anyways. Dylan, another guy, I can't say the name, I actually call him.
I know who he is.
Dylan, Mini Cooper Dylan.
Oh, yeah.
His girlfriend also has a Mini Cooper, and he brought it to me. He couldn't figure out, it had a bunch of codes in it for the VVT, you know, cam actuators and stuff. What's the first cause of cam actuator codes? No oil, man. It's got low oil. Yeah, it's or bad. Dirty oil.
They need oil pressure.
But you know, I love him. I love Dylan. He's my boy. But so you know, I popped the scanner onto the graphs and I went for a drive. You know, I logged the graphs of the the intake and the exhaust cams. You make sure they were both doing this, what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing had 9 codes in it.
It's never a good place to start.
Bunch of misfires and then movement sensed on one of the cams, and I'm like, this is just weird.
Oh, movements. I mean, would that be like a cam rotating?
I don't
Like
know.
out of timing almost? I mean...
Well, yeah, because it had a bunch of misfires, so I'm assuming one of the cams wasn't adjusting in relation to the other one.
I was going to say, what it probably was? That
The
lack of oil
actuator.
pressure. Yeah, it's not... Can't be actuated.
So I'm going through it, I'm looking at these codes, and I'm like, it hadn't hit me yet. When I was working at Chevy, obviously, when I saw one of those codes, first thing I checked the oil. Then I popped the cams out, and on the little screen on them, the actuators, there'd be a bunch of shit in the
100%.
screens. Clean them off, whatever.
Yep.
I pull a dipstick, dude. Nothing. I was so mad at him. I call him up. I'm like, dude, I can't diagnose your car if it doesn't have oil in it. I don't know what those minis take, but I put 3 quarts in it till it was full on the stick. Oof. He told me it takes like 4.2 or something.
Some oil is better than no oil, man.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, when is this going to get the oil change? He's like, dude, I did it 1,000 miles ago. Yeah. No, maybe 3,000. 3,000 miles. So it burnt a quart every 1,000 miles.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, dude, that don't sound right. And it had just 40,000 miles ago. Got some timing chains done or belt, because of an oil consumption issue at the dealership. And so he called around. He was freaking out. Called a bunch of people, and the general consensus was, those things just burn oil.
Oh.
Yeah. A bunch of people said that it's probably just carbon buildup on the valves.
For sure.
And
I've seen that.
He's like, yeah. So I guess you can. What do you call it? You can get it cleaned a certain way.
Oh yeah, like carbon blasting, walnut blasting.
Walnut blasting. That's what he called it. I was like,
very familiar.
I mean, it'll work, but you just plan on doing that every, 3 oil changes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we do
I couldn't believe a quart every 1,000 miles, dude.
Yeah, that's excessive.
Woo!
At that point,
and it doesn't even smoke.
I mean, that'd be a lot, even if it's just carbon buildup on the valves to kill a quart every 1,000. I mean,
oh man,
it's got to be like wearing out the valve seals too. I mean, I would imagine
it did have a bunch of It had a bunch of misfire codes, so it's probably all built up in there. But anyways, that was my story about Mini Coopers.
Yep. We get cars like that almost. I mean, I would say I probably get a car like that almost weekly, where it's like they come in, they haven't had an oil change done in who knows how long.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I'll do, I'll scan the car and I'll see Vanos gear faults or Vanos solenoid faults, something, and like I said, a bunch of misfires. Yeah. It's typical.
It's got good fuel pressure. It doesn't have good fuel volume or oil volume.
Yeah, and
so it can't operate those things.
First thing I'll do is I'll take the it's a cartridge filter. I'll take the oil filter cap off and see this crumpled Chinese oil filter.
Off Amazon.
Fucking O-ring immediately breaks the second you pull the cap off. And there's supposed to be a cage there. It's got another O-ring on it.
Yeah.
And, man, there's times where that thing is just completely gone.
Oh, no.
And you look up in, the corner of a window and you'll see,
hey, but there was a
sticker.
Deal at Walmart for some Mobile One and a filter.
$19.99 oil filter special. And that, 15-year-old kid gave it all it was worth and just, forgot half your parts. Or they gave you subpar parts, man. I mean, a lot of people don't really think about.
Such a typical story. It's like, I'll give a customer a quote and they're like, oh, my nephew said he can do it for this much in the driveway.
Yeah, my mechanic. My favorite thing is when it's, I brought it to my guy and it's, now they've shown up at your door because their guy couldn't fix it. And then they're outraged because you're like, man, I need at least an hour or two to probably diagnose this up front. If I don't use all 2 hours, I'll only charge you for an hour. If I figure it out quick, if I figure it out in 5 minutes, I'm not even going to bother charging. Let's just do the repair and try to get it resolved. But I always love it because it's your guy couldn't fix it. Yeah. You brought it here. Yeah. Now it's time for the right guys to do the right job.
And you're giving me shit.
And you're going to give me shit for it.
It's on my lift. It's a part already because I diagnosed it. And I just have to put the part in.
That's it. And a lot of times they come in, they're like, well, my guy couldn't figure it out. And it's like, so you figured out. And then they don't even give you the courtesy to do the repair, and they take it back to their guy. Then you see it again in another 2 weeks as the guy messed it up. It kills me. I had one recently, made me laugh. I won't mention the name of the outside shop, but customer had paid.
Is it one that I would know?
Oh yeah, you know you.
What does it rhyme with?
I don't want to say because you'll know immediately. I'll definitely tell you off, Mike. But
is there a landmark near it?
there's a couple landmarks near it.
Okay. Anyways,
but so the guy had paid $1,700 on to have the valve cover gaskets replaced on his like I think it was like a 2011 5 Series BMW, like an E60 with a V8.
that sounds accurate, right?
Yeah, which is accurate. I think our quote of it was like initial quote of it was like $1,800. Like at the time, like we weren't.
Man, just go to the dealership,
we
man.
But at the time, like we weren't super certain of the extent of the repair history with the outside shop. But the guy shows up as a waiter, and the complaint
Get
was,
his fucking valve cover.
No, not to get him replaced, to get the car diagnosed because he keeps getting this continuous check engine light. And I think he had more or less kind of lost patience with the outside shop, and he decided, screw it, I'll bring it to the dealer and see if these guys can figure it out. And his initial complaint was at cold start, the vehicle runs rough and the check engine light comes on, but he brought it in as a waiter, piping hot. So
what are you supposed to do?
So I scan
sometimes they don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, it's not his fault.
You can look for old codes. Yeah.
So I'm
okay.
like, oh, screw it. Like we all know what happens at cold start. I mean, fuel trims do different things. There's just a bunch of things at play. I scan it, and I just got straight up misfire faults. So I go through it, and I see it's all lean. I'm like, well, let's check this thing for leaks. So I smoke test it. Through I smoke test the intake manifold, smoke test the crankcase system, and everything like that, and I can't find a single leak in the thing. So I pull the ignition coils, and here they are. They're all corroded, and they got rust on them. I pull the spark plugs, and I mean, they look like hell. This
guy would have seen that when he did the valve covers, correct?
Well, he would have seen the ignition coils. He definitely wouldn't have seen the spark plugs. He would have had to pull the plugs to see the electrode and all that jazz. But at the same time, I'm like, you definitely could have told the guy about his ignition coils. But I'm like, all right, so this is a waiter based on the information I have to work with. I'm like, let's do spark plugs and let's do some ignition coils because all this rust definitely is not helping these things perform. So we do it, clear the faults, drive it, probably 15 miles, and things running smooth. I mean, glass. Yeah. I'm loving it. I'm like, all right, great, resolved. But he's going to leave the car overnight so we can get it ice cold in the morning.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
So to my surprise, I get the thing in the next day. I'm there at 6:30 to get this thing ice cold. It's like a 40-degree day. And I'm like, I need to get this thing resolved ASAP. So I smoke test it again. Same faults, misfires, running lean, it's just terrible. And all of a sudden I have all this smoke pouring past the grommets for the bolts on the valve cover, pouring out past the valve cover seals.
Oh, he didn't put those little grommets in?
He didn't. They didn't replace the grommets, and they used like cheap aftermarket valve cover gaskets.
Oh no!
And they used a ton of RTV for a valve cover that required no RTV. So this thing, valve covers are part of the crankcase system, and
yeah,
it's just pouring. Smoke out.
So once the gaskets were cold, not swollen up,
they weren't
just let
sealing
go.
anymore.
Yeah,
they just let go, and they were just letting all this air in.
Oh no!
So he had to go. So we took a video of it because I couldn't even believe it, and we sent it to the guy. And we're like, "Hey man, you got to go back to them, and it's up to you what you want to do. I mean, if you want to have them resolve it, they can resolve it. That'd be their business, But he ended up actually getting his money back for the repair.
I was gonna say, if I were him, I would have just had you guys done it, and then brought the bill to those guys and been like, "Listen, look, this had to be redone."
At the end of the day, before he even came in and spent any more money with us, he went back to that outside shop, and credit to the outside shop for trying to make the situation right. I mean, that's a huge deal as well. But just subpar work performed.
That sucks.
So the guy came back in, and you know what, man, we just helped him out because we felt bad. We're all human, we gave him a better price on it, at the end of the day, and took care of the issue. Cars have been back. It's been about, I think, 3 weeks now.
I got a vehicle outside that's having a bus problem, a data problem. And I'm trying so hard, man. It's got 500,000 miles on it. I'm trying so hard not to send him to the dealership. But I don't even know where to send him besides the dealership. Where else am I going to send him to get a data problem diagnosed besides me?
Yeah, it's tough.
I can do as far as I can do, but at some point...
Yeah, at some point, you're just out of options.
At some point, I can only do so much data.
Yeah.
I got a welder here. I got a nice snap-on scanner, but that's about it. It's like,
bus systems can be tricky too because all it takes is a short, and now that signal's ruined.
And it tells you codes for 10 different modules.
100%, especially if that bus system. I mean, we both know. I mean, bus systems it's like a network of communication for multiple modules. And
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on depending on the complexity of the car. I mean, if I pull in like one of our newest cars, I got FlexRay, which is like a ridiculously fast bus system. Then we'll have PT-CAN, which will be mostly related to powertrain components, K-CANs, body components,
Yeah.
most bus, which
Oh, man.
for the most part we don't really deal with a whole lot of most bus components anymore. But that's really just used for your infotainment.
But and if it's intermittent, you really can't like.
Oh.
I've had them where it was just dead. It was pulling down the voltage by a whole volt on the data system, and I would unplug something in the system until it jumped back up.
100%.
And
It's a very easy way to
you
do
know,
it.
just loop them together on the connector so it would still flow.
Yep.
And that would work great. But this thing, it's like intermittent, and I'm like, I can't find it.
Yeah,
you know?
intermittent's tough. Intermittent's really tough.
You know, what am I
'cause,
supposed to do? It's I feel bad.
I mean, I've seen cars get torn completely gutted interiors looking for a chafed wire, and it's.
Do you do ASCs anymore?
I have to start doing them now. It's become a requirement for me as a technician.
Oh, really?
So thankfully, the ASC system has been updated. So like all the ASC testing I'm going to be taking in the future is related directly to BMW vehicles.
That was the thing at the dealership I was at. They only cared about whatever that franchise was requiring of them. So they only put me through the factory trainings. They never ever even mentioned ASCs to me. I mean, dude, I was in people's engines doing warranty work at a dealership, and I didn't have a single ASC certification. How wrong is that? How wrong is that? That's a standard across America. That certification.
It is. It is
That everyone's held to, and you as a dealership aren't having your technicians do that.
100%.
Not even one. Not even air conditioning. Not even air conditioning, dude.
You have to have that federal one though.
Nope.
Max certification. You're supposed to.
Man, I was blowing Freon into the atmosphere left of me. No, I was using the machine, but still, right. I was working on AC all the time.
Yeah.
Not a single certification from
the Mac one is the only one that I have because it was the only one required of me. Because for a long time, German car manufacturers just didn't see value in having ASC testing done. And I understand where they were coming from, that their testing was much more applicable directly to their vehicles.
Yeah.
It was much more thorough. It was guaranteed. And they also had Porsche has testing procedures. There's certifications you can't get without taking a hands-on assessment in front of, former technicians who are now instructors. And you need to prove that you're competent and capable of doing those kinds of repairs. And that's a huge thing, but we have to go through it now. My only bone that I would pick with ASC is, you can kind of be anybody and go get those certifications.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just because you have that badge, that patch, that piece of paper.
Oh God, I hate people that wear those badges.
Oh, they're the worst.
They like plaster it on the front door of their business. It's like, just stop.
Yeah, it's like, just stop.
You took a test. Stop.
Yeah, give it up. Nobody cares. It's not a degree from Harvard. Or Yale,
it's more for
like,
customers.
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it's to make people feel comfortable, but it's not. There's other countries in the world where it's like you have to be licensed, just like an electrician, just like a plumber.
Yeah.
I think if ASC, to me, I think I would take it much more seriously if it was like a licensing thing, so that it would keep.
And I think it should be
wrong I agree with you. I think it 100% should be, because
I think
there's a lot of bad guys, not just guys and gals, bad technicians out there, who just aren't educated, who are always ruining people's cars. It's inevitable. I think it would help prevent that, and it would mitigate a lot of the unfortunate things that occur in the industry.
See, what I think about all the time is it's like this ticking time bomb. Something's gotta happen in that industry where it's not as do or die. Like someone like you needs to start getting paid what you're worth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And the dealerships need to start being molded around the fact that you're the most important person there.
Yeah.
Once that car is sold, you as a technician are now the most important person.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not leaning towards that at all. You could literally work for a full week and not get paid.
Yeah.
If you get fucked some way on some warranty thing where you messed up, or the car's messed up for some other reason, you could still end up going home with no paycheck. And that's, dude, it's like the only industry left in this entire country where that's legal.
Yeah, it's
where's mechanics need a union, dude. If it's possible for you to go home with zero money after working all week, you need union reps
You know
and stuff.
what's tough is there's a lot of flat rate union shops out there, believe it or not, and they still don't have a guarantee. And then the issue that I've seen, I mean, there's upsides and downsides to everything, man. But one of the things I've noticed is that in some cases, like a union will come in and they'll say like a level 4 technician's paid this, level 3 guys this, yada yada yada, and there's no moving up from there. So, you know, like I'm fortunate enough, you know, I mean, through a lot of hard work and, you know, just kind of learning that, like, I'm a very high level, high producing technician in terms of what my dealership yields financially off of the work that I do. And I think at some point it's like that pay has to match that performance level. You can't just go, you're level 1, you get paid $25 an hour. That's where the buck stops. That's it. And it's like, well, when I make you $500,000 a year,
yeah,
you know, and you don't even let me take home
60. Yeah,
you know, it's like
I'm taking home 65. What the
60,
fuck?
65. You know, and I'm like, man, it's like,
and I spent 20 on tools.
it seems it seems very disproportionate. And like, I get it that, you know, that labor rate gets broken up to pay multiple individuals, but the service department for a lot of dealers out there, I think, is the backbone. You know, it's what helps. It's what keeps the lights on. I mean, you know, salesmen nowadays,
and what keeps customers coming back
Yeah.
for that same brand vehicle.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's what keeps customers from going, fuck this, I'm going to buy a Toyota.
Yeah. If you go and you buy a brand new BMW, and then you come in and you get shit service.
Yeah.
Every single
You're buying
time,
a Mercedes next
dude,
time.
you're going. Yeah, 100%. You're going to Mercedes.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. People just have bad experiences, and sometimes it's just people buy a car, and they've just got bad luck, and it just breaks all the time. And it's got nothing to do with the service department or with the repair or with even the personnel in the dealership, you know, but they certainly take the heat for it. And then, of course, you know, you get those surveys, and, you know, I read surveys every morning. That's how I start my morning. I like to go through and see the surveys written about the cars that I worked on.
I used to get, if someone wrote a bad survey about me, I never heard about the good ones. Only when something bad happened, they'd call me up to kind of, what happened with this, man? I would know exactly what car it is, too. And I'd be like, nope, this is what happened, read my notes. And I'd walk away, and they'd get all mad. I almost got fired a few times over it. I would just be like, no, I'm not talking about this. Read my notes.
Yeah, you have to read
Not talking about it. Read my notes.
I put them in there.
And it was so bad where I was that my service people wouldn't read my notes because nobody else wrote notes. They just assumed there was no notes on there.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was all handwritten paper and stuff like that. So it was primitive. It was caveman stuff.
Yeah, that's stuff. I haven't had to work in like an all paper shop. I think I had to do that for one day where I actually had to make manual time punches.
Really?
Yeah, because we lost power.
Time
And
punches. Don't even fucking get me started on time punches.
We kind of lost power. My lift still works, so I was still...
We had time cards. They were at the front of the room, which was, for me, it was 5 lifts away from me was where the time punch card thing is and where my card was. Now, when you're doing warranty work, say I'm doing an oil change and a recall, part of the recall is you check for something, and if you find it, you have to install a part. Mm-hmm. That's 3 different punches you need to make.
Yeah. The initial punch.
So I got to punch into this car, pull it in, do the oil change, punch out of the oil change, look for the recall, find that it needs a part, punch out, get the part, punch back in. Yeah, but it's a manual punch. It's at the front of the room.
Yeah, you have to keep leaving, and
that's the point I'd like to make. Don't work at a dealership unless they capitalize on everything that corporate wants them to do, because corporate has spent millions of dollars on research and development on how to do things and all these 100%. Systems and processes. And if they tell you to do something, just do it, because they have hundreds or thousands of dealerships across the whole world that are already doing it, and they've tested it and it works. So just listen to them.
And it doesn't just stop with service. I mean, they spend that money
it's everywhere. It's sales, it's service, it's parts, it's all of
logistics,
that. The process of everything, where to have the fucking compressor hook up, everything.
Yeah.
If corporate tells you to do something, just fucking do it.
Yeah. Also, too, don't work for a dealership. Like, if you go into a dealership, especially as like a new technician, you know, I mean, you're going to hear a lot of change careers now, do this, do that. And I heard that a lot. And, man, like, just don't stay in a dealership where, like, if you look around and everybody's bitter, everybody's miserable.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now, that's a bad dealership.
Yeah,
it's not that the industry is all bad. It's not all bad. No. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good dealers out there. Man, I've been in some bad ones. Some guys are just real bitter, real miserable. And they're young. They were young guys too, man. I think I was like 21 when I started turning wrenches in a dealership, and these guys were 25, and like 6 years experience in, and just absolutely bitter about it. And I'm just like,
dude, I think
it's tough.
If you're working in a good dealership, you show up in the morning, there's a fat workload, and everyone's working together to get it done. Yeah. So your service guys are ready to shovel it. Things that you're good at are going to be shoveled to you in just tons as fast as you can work. And things that the guy next to you is good at, he's going to get those jobs.
Yeah.
And then the parts guys are going to be working with you as fast as they can. They're going to try to sell parts as fast as they can in service. You know what I mean? Your lot guys are working with you to move cars around.
100%.
You know, that's a good dealership.
It's got to be a team effort. Like,
or shitty dealerships, you're waiting for jobs to show up. And then, there's mechanics that are in the bathroom. They're not waiting for jobs. Like, dude, if everyone's not waiting at the service desk waiting for their first job in the morning, you're in the wrong place.
100%.
Get out of there.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. I mean, if, it's a lot of guys say that, you'll never make money. It's just not true. You'll never make money at a bad dealership. But at a good dealership, you'll always make money.
Oh, yeah. Because everyone's in on it. Everyone's got to be in on it.
Yeah, and you got to be in a place where everybody holds everybody else accountable.
Yeah. And a good dealership, the parts department, the service department, they all have incentives for you as a technician to be producing. So 100%. If you're producing and you're bringing home 90 hours on a 50-hour week, guess what? Your service department's also getting crazy incentives and bonuses. So is your parts department. And if everybody works together that way, it works perfectly, which is why that system is in place. And if you're a dealership that doesn't capitalize on that, dude, it's not perfect. It's poisonous.
Perfect example of it is recently, I think, a week or two ago, I got to go to California.
Oh my god.
That was
Wait, no, hold on. Pause. Oh. I got to take a piss.
Do it.
Yeah, we're going to start over. Fuck, dude. Shit. How did I fuck that up?
That was a lot of conversating too.
I'm so mad, dude. All right, in the next episode, we're going to talk about
whatever it was.
Racing cars. Damn it, we missed everything about racing cars.
Oh, man, that was a lot, too.
Dude, I'm so mad at myself right now. I can't believe I didn't hit the right button. See,
the best part
I should have never paused it. I should have just let it record and then while we go to the bathroom and edit it. Oh,
the best part about it, too, is like that first hour and whatever the hell it was is going to basically end at Cali, and then it's picking up now.
Special little bit for next time.
Yeah, there
you can hear about racing cars in California.
Yeah.
And here. Where's here? Connecticut.
Thompson.
I want to get let me give you the lineup of the next few people I have in mind. I have do you know Soggy Sam?
I do know Soggy Sam.
Yeah, I want to get Soggy Sam on here to talk about because he wraps cars.
Yeah.
And he's a degenerate when it comes to purchasing toys.
Yes. Yes.
So I want to get him on here next to talk to him, especially about wrapping cars. I bet he has so many stories, dude, about people that want to get cars wrapped, about the things he has wrapped. I mean, he told me last week he wrapped a brand new Tesla. A month or two ago, there was like a Ferrari there, I think, or a McLaren or some supercar was there. I don't know, getting wrapped. It's like, dude, I can't even imagine that world.
It's nuts. It's funny too, 'cause, man, like I've seen guys wrap cars.
It's a lot.
It looks like a lot of work.
It
seems hard as hell.
Someone asked me about it the other day, and I'm like, I think he charges you for about 3 days worth of labor, and they're like, oh, that's a lot. And I'm like, are you
wrapping your whole car?
Are you dumb?
Wrapping your whole car.
Literally a seamless sticker over your entire car.
I know we have one of our clients. Well, like I definitely have a pretty good relationship with him. I've chatted with him outside of work a couple of times. He's got an M3 that's wrapped, and it is wonderful.
Yeah.
The only thing I regret is not knowing the name of the company. It's a local company that did the wrap for him. I believe it's a friend of his as well. And I mean, they did a phenomenal.
What color is it?
It's like it changes color as you move around it.
So, is it like pearly though? Like
yeah, it's like almost like it's like a pearlescent like kind of like metallic-y, but like as you move around, it's like purple, greenish. It depends what angle you get it at. Like those, almost like those old chameleon paint jobs, and those things were like huge back in the day.
Yeah.
Except this is like, it's so unbelievably well done that like you would swear it was a paint job.
Yeah, all you
Like
got is the door jams, yeah.
I've legitimately never seen a wrap. I've seen a lot of wraps. I've never seen a wrap done this well in my life.
Dude, Sam does wraps like that. It's crazy. I'm like, man, I swear this car's painted, and it's
Yeah.
like the amount of time it takes to lay that razor blade over the windshield seal perfectly.
I mean, it's like, they have
to
it,
where you can't see where the paint ends.
they have it down to the door jambs. Most places you go and you get a wrap or plasti dipped or whatever. You open the door, you know, and it's
Big
like
bright white door
and
jams.
it's like,
yeah,
it's like, oh shit, this car used to be
Yeah.
canary yellow and now it's like wrapped black. That looks terrible right there.
yeah.
But I mean, this one here is done. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
I don't know, man.
it's quite simple. It's literally the best wrap job I've ever seen in my life. I'm
Yes.
envious of it. It's not quite for me, but every time I see it, I'm like, man, it's good looking. Like I would never do it to my own car, at least that color. But every time I see it, I'm just like, dude, that's so damn cool.
He's hooking me up with some stickers, with that new logo I got made.
Yep.
Stickers, like, you know, printed stickers
Mhm.
for the cars, and then he's got 2 die cuts for me he's making for the Ranger doors
That's
for the shop
awesome.
truck. So I want to have him on, and then I was thinking Tom Bersari. Do you know Tom Bersari?
I don't think so.
I haven't even asked him yet. Maybe if you listen to this, I wouldn't have to ask him. But he's a drift kid. Have you seen the Neat Drift Club? They're the white cars with like the awful, like aluminum foil flames.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
know those guys, right? There's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
4 or
yeah.
5 cars.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah. Tom's one of those guys. He's got a
That's awesome.
IS300. Awesome guy. Used to be a Jeep guy, but now he drifts. Much gooder decision. I want to get him on. Who else was I thinking? Mind you, I have an off-road shop, but got all these car guys on here. I don't know. I'm really just a car guy. Just
Well, it's
work on.
car guy working on truck stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. My business is funny. I was telling you earlier, dude. I've had drift car customers, race car customers. I got a 55 Chevy on the lift out there.
Which is awesome.
What else? I've had slammed cars. You know, the Mini on the bags. Totally slammed. Obviously, I have rock crawlers, buggies, stuff like that. Diesel trucks, work trucks, regular cars. I've had a minivan in here. I've had everything.
That's crazy to me because like,
lawnmowers. I've
oh my goodness.
welded up on lawnmowers. Just I gotta stop with that. That diversity is way too wide.
well, it's just it. I mean,
I gotta reel it in, man.
like I've never been great at being like I don't even, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck great. I've never been good at being that diverse with different car manufacturers, different. It takes a lot.
You've never really had to
Takes a
venture
lot.
out though.
No.
Neither did I until I left the dealership.
Yeah.
And once I left the dealership, I realized everything's about the same, just different manufacturers either make it harder or easier for you to work on stuff, and they use cheaper or more quality
yeah.
parts.
You know, for me, like
Those are the differences.
5% of my experience is all German. Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities. Like, you know,
All
like
the
I could
German
rip
shit's
and-
pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's very similar. Like I can rip and
Yeah.
tear into just about any German car.
Yeah.
And you know, and feel really comfortable with it, even if you know, I think really out of like the big 3 German car manufacturers, I mean, you have Audi, BMW, and Mercedes. Mercedes is the only one where I don't have some sort of extensive history with.
I'm so angry that I missed out on like an hour of conversation by not hitting that fucking button, dude. Oh, I'm so hyped up.
It's so ridiculous. You know what's really crazy about it too is like I actually thought I think Adam hit re-record, right? Like it didn't.
You didn't think to look over there? I didn't think.
I didn't think to look over
We were
there. I was
talking
like,
and shit.
I was like, man, guy's a pro. We're on a roll.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I thought I hit the record button, but apparently, when you're paused,
It doesn't record. You have to hit.
you
play,
gotta hit the
then
pause
record?
button again. I don't know. I'm stupid.
That's silly.
I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, it'll
this
be
is only
alright.
podcast number 2. We're good.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
I'll be alright.
I feel like the first few probably have to be a little.
It's gonna be a long
Rough.
winter. We're gonna do this 100 more times.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
This is probably actually the best use of a Thursday night in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Like I think my other option was to take a nap
And then continue that nap into the
and
night.
continue that nap into the night.
So I fucked up and I paused this when we started talking about you racing cars, right?
Yes, correct.
The importance of this one, I thought I really wanted to talk about dealership working life. So we've probably talked about most of that, right?
Yeah, I think we got that down pat. Yeah.
I think we got most of that.
Yeah, so it's really just the
race car
California and the racing my own personal car experience.
Yeah, man, we'll talk
especially as a novice.
All right,
An expert's got a lot more going on.
we'll get back to that.
Yeah, that'll be a totally different
That
thing.
being said, so the shop truck, the Ranger,
Which is sick, by the way.
55 miles an hour is what I can take full lock of the steering wheel around a corner before it starts sliding. How fast can your car go around a corner? Or do you not even know yet?
The fastest I got it around.
Like I'm talking like cranking the steering wheel till the car starts sliding. Or have you even felt that yet?
I've gotten it to sort of slide. Like it wasn't like a full on slide. Like there was no fear involved.
You're like,
was
is
still-
my car moving sideways?
Like it definitely gave me a twitch to let me know what was going on, but I
Okay.
was still very comfortable, and I want to say that was
95.
probably around 90 to 100 miles an hour.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean that was also like a pretty open. I mean, it depends on the corner too. You know, tighter.
I'm
corner.
talking nice, consistent throttle, kind of wide corner.
Yeah, like almost like a highway off ramp type of thing.
Yeah, like you know the South Hadley one. You're coming down the hill towards Holyoke. If you take the one where it's like gradual, but then it gets tighter.
Yeah,
That one.
that's-
If I'm going 55 in that, once I get to the tight spot,
so
it starts going a little bit.
there's a pretty sweet off ramp that depending on. Sometimes if I'm in the mood, I'll go down Route 5 and to get on 91, like down past like the Hooters. There's like an on ramp to get on 91 northbound,
Mm-hmm.
and
I know that one. Yeah.
so
I
like
know
the
what you're
one
talking
like
about.
right, like you have your initial corner where you kind of go left, and that second right there.
Yeah.
I've taken that in my car at about 90.
That
And
must
it
feel amazing.
It's in the summer. Granted, it was in the summer. I haven't done it recently because it's gotten colder out, and I'm on tires that do not like the cold weather at all.
Mm.
But in like prime conditions, yeah, you can get yourself into some trouble pretty quickly.
Man, that's crazy.
It's scary. It's scary as hell, especially now too with the modification made to it,
Mm.
which is
That being said, I think I need to stop driving my shop truck that way because it's a stock 4-cylinder Ford Ranger, and I shouldn't be going around corners as fast as I can.
my favorite. Is
That's bad.
we had
It's reckless.
one of the guys that came in had actually same guy with the wrap had a lowered. It means modified. It's lowered, and the stance is pretty dialed on it. But his concern was he was kind of getting some rubbing in the rear, so we wanted the alignment. We gave him more negative camber. The best part about it was like going out for a road test with him, and having him put it through a corner to see if we can get it to rub, and then like him going, I don't know if I push it hard enough. He's like, do you want to, maybe drive the car instead if you're a little more comfortable with it? And it's like when a customer gives you like the A-OK.
Oh man, that's the best.
To really like turn in hard. And not that we were necessarily, like we weren't really going all that fast, but to turn in hard to see if you can get something to rub, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was just a hilariously ridiculous
Bunch of
experience.
negative camber. Only
Yeah.
half your tires touching the ground.
Yeah, I mean, his car was sliding much earlier than my car.
Oh, yeah.
'cause,
Oh, yeah.
He's got a very different setup, but it was funny to feel the difference in grip at
Oh,
that
man.
point.
Yeah, just the way you buy your car is set up so good for
Yeah,
just race car activities.
It's very, any car that's developed, I think, with any sort of sport driving, in mind,
Yeah.
I think it becomes very tricky unless like you're at a real race shop, probably to really make those suspension modifications and have it be an actual improvement. There's a lot of dudes out there slapping coilovers on cars that think that they're freaking Lewis Hamilton afterwards. That's just not the case. It's just not how it works.
It's the craziest thing. Like, I don't know how much you watch the Hoonigans, but did you see the purple BMW that Dan put together?
I saw a little bit of it, yeah.
So he put it together with the idea that he set it up so that pretty much he could track it, but then really just, I think he maybe like See, I don't know how it would go from track car to drift car without having like a e-locker in the back. You would need something that's, you can't track a locked rear end, you know? So, anyways, I don't know what the difference, what he did with that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But other than that, I know he's like, I really want to build this car so that you can change the coilovers and the alignment and go from track to drifting.
Right on the fly, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, fuck, man, that's the difference.
It's pretty common. I mean,
that's cool.
I mean, SEMA had happened, I think, within the past week.
It
was last weekend, yeah. I don't know how much of that you saw, but
please, come on.
Did you? I mean, I follow a lot of BMW pages, but there's a CSF is a company that, for me anyway, they make like radiators and intercoolers and whatnot.
No.
They took the engine out of my car, an S55, and put it in an E30.
Oh no! What?
Which is frightening.
That's too much.
I mean, it's fantastic. But I thought that was the craziest one I saw, and then I saw one the other yesterday while I came home scrolling through Instagram feeds, whatever, and I don't remember. Either way, it was a Datsun. I want to say it was a 280Z. I might be wrong on this. However, they took a V10 engine out of an M6 and put velocity stacks on it. It was know what it was? It was the B. It was the B is for build guy.
Oh.
I don't know if you follow him on Instagram at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy swapped a V10 M6 engine in, velocity stacks on it, plus a full interior swap.
I mean, if that's gonna fit in any engine bay, it's gonna fit in a Fairlady.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a V10. Like
that's a lot.
Like, the engine swap is pretty crazy on its own. Like if he had just left it there and did something cool on the inside, that was his own deal, whatever. But it's the fact that he swapped in the full M6 interior, and it fits. It looks like it fits like a freaking glove.
That is bizarre.
Man. It's very bizarre.
That's SEMA.
It's SEMA. That's what it's for.
Normal stuff.
Holy shit! It was that cool.
That's crazy.
It blew my mind when I saw that.
Dude.
It's a lot of motor.
It gets to the end of the SEMA week. Colby over here, his desk's right there. It's like the last day of SEMA. It's 6 a.m. and we're both sitting here, drinking our coffee, doing paperwork. And he goes, "Hey, I wish we could go to SEMA." I'm like, "We can go to SEMA. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Do you think you can get tickets?" I'm like, "Yes! Yes, I can get tickets! Do you want to go?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to go." I'm like, "All right, I'll put in for it this year, man."
Yeah.
So I think me and Cole are going to go to SEMA, dude. If
That's awesome.
You want to come?
I would love to go. I'll buy a plane ticket.
I'll probably only go for I'd probably make it a short trip.
I mean, it's Vegas.
Yeah, imagine
they're for car shit, not gambling.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, they say it's 30 miles. If you walk every aisle in that show, it's 30 miles.
So what? You probably want to do it over the course of 3 days?
I think. Maybe I feel like the prime of the week would be like, if we could show up. I feel like we could show up
in the middle.
Tuesday night. Show up, sleep there Tuesday night and wake up Wednesday morning. Spend all of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday there, and then head home Saturday afternoon or night.
No, you'd want to.
I think by Saturday, dude, stuff was really dying down.
Well, flying back. This is my first.
Saturdays is expensive to fly. I was telling Natalia, I was like, I think I'd have to book the flights and the hotel now.
Oh,
a year,
a
year out to get a decent price.
Yeah, that's what you'd want to do for sure.
But I told Cole, he's a dad as well. I was like, if there's any extensive trip that we could go on that we could back out at last minute and sell our tickets and shit to, it's that show. It's that
one, yeah. Somebody's gonna need.
We could sell our tickets, we could sell our hotel room.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be a big deal, but
yeah,
not that I would want to, but I was just, The
only thing you'd probably lose out on are the plane tickets.
Yeah, maybe not though.
You got to be able to confirm your identity with your tickets and all that shit, and the boarding passes.
You can't sell your.
You can't sell your plane
tickets. You can't pass them on.
No, because it's gonna when you go to purchase them.
If I buy them now though, it's only gonna be like $200 if you buy them now.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you bought them now, even if we had to cancel, depends on the airline.
But I would love to. I would have gone this year.
Yeah.
I actually, in the beginning of the week, I thought about asking him last minute, but I was like, I don't think I can get tickets at this point to get in.
It's tough. We should go to the New York Auto Show.
I've seen
That's
that.
coming up.
I think they asked me to do a booth there once when I was doing Truck Fest,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
I mean, it's a short drive. I mean, they also too because we're both in the industry. You can literally go on like an industry night, so you don't have to worry about being hassled by like the general public or any of that jazz.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a bunch of people who are in the industry. You get to walk around, get your drinks. And
What time of the year is that?
It's coming up. I want to say next month.
Oh, really?
This month, next month, yeah.
How
It's
do we get
usually
tickets?
I think you can literally just reach out to them. As long as you can prove that you're a member of the industry, maybe like pay stubs, verify that you're a company or some shit like that.
New York Auto Show?
Yeah, because they just had the Connecticut Auto Show, or they're having the Connecticut Auto Show this week, but I missed the deadline to get the tickets. But I'm sure for the New York Auto Show, I'm sure we could probably, either one of us could probably email it and go down.
SEMA would just be cool because all the people that I'm dealers for are there.
Yeah.
And I could
Also, too, I mean, it's all aftermarket, it's all modified, all crazy builds. New York Auto Show, you're just going to see new reveals of cars, and
which is cool.
it's still cool.
Yeah.
A little more like it's
Like
still be fun to do.
Like these guys, the company I'm installing parts for these vans, these Sprinter vans, I'm the only guy in the East Coast. Only guy, the only shop on the East Coast doing that.
Perfect.
And I'm putting in these orders with these guys, and they're just, it's like they're these, it's just crazy. And I would love to like meet them in person. I've never met them in person. It's a weird story. Like one guy that started that business, one of the guys was a rock crawling guy, and he was an engineer for a suspension company. And I knew that company, and I knew him from some stuff I've watched. And then an episode of a show I watch all the time was like, oh, he broke off from that company, and he's now starting a company making lift kits for vans. And I was like, what? That's how I heard about it. That was like 5 years ago, dude.
Holy
and then when I
shit.
started this shop, and I'm like, I just want to work on work vehicles. And I'm like, oh, that's right. There was that company. And I looked it up. I just became a dealer, and I put out a couple ads. Let me tell you right now, it's worked out. It's worked out well.
That's awesome.
It's a weird thing. It's like you don't see it much around. You don't see those fucking things around here
No.
much. But I have friends.
I think that's literally the first one I've ever seen.
Well, those are rare right now. They're, like I said, the whole country's backordered on four-wheel drive vans. But like my friends that go camping up in Maine and stuff, it's huge to have vans like that are decked out for camping and not have a whole RV.
I imagine too out west, it's got to be huge too, man. I mean, those things are fucking great.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
You want to go camping, you want to go hunting, you want to just go be in the woods and nature.
But anyways,
could you imagine taking that thing up to Acadia?
Oh my god,
You
should drive that thing. It's ridiculous. It's like you're driving like a little sedan. It's tiny.
No shit.
Oh yeah,
because I look at it and it's huge, and I hate driving giant vehicles.
It's not huge. It does not feel like that when you're driving it. It's the weirdest thing.
Huh.
It's a great vehicle. It's Mercedes. I expect nothing less, I guess.
I got super excited about that.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
I think it's the only time I've ever been excited about a quote unquote van.
Yeah.
In my life, like,
yeah.
There's nothing van like about that thing.
Nothing creepy about it either.
I think it's a house.
It's a van and it's not creepy.
It's not creepy. You don't look like you should be arrested immediately. If you are living in it, it is okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm excited to like get the suspension put on it and stuff and do some good photography.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see that thing when it's
just cool.
completed. Like, I think it's just sweet.
Yeah. It's crazy. It comes with Method race wheels on it, stock. It's like, what? What? What are you doing?
That's wild.
Yeah, it's cool.
That is wild.
Dude, I can't stop thinking about how I forgot to hit record again for a fucking hour. About probably the most entertaining part of this talk.
Yeah.
Talking about race cars. Fuck.
Yeah, race cars and
Damn
driving
it.
experiences and...
Like, maybe it'll just hook people on to the next one.
I
Okay.
mean, there'll be more.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you said, we got all winter. It's Massachusetts, man.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
How do we end this out?
I don't know.
Should we end it out? I can't wait
we
to read this news. Yeah, we got.
We got one more. We each have one more beer left.
Why is there a stack of limes there? You not been using limes?
Oh shit! I have not been using limes. Did you use a lime?
Wait, no. All but one.
All right, so this would be my first one then. Actually, the two without limes are probably mine. So I've done two without limes. which still would not finish off all those limes.
I'm saving that. I
don't need those limes.
I didn't throw that bag away. I'm putting those limes
That's
back
fine.
in there.
Put it back in. Save it for your next round of Coronas.
That'll be like 6 months from now.
Well,
here, anyways. At home, different story. Maybe I'll take them
you
home.
can bring them home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
what I would
limes do you think goes in one of those 22-ounce Coronas? 2?
2. Yeah, just double up on it, I would think.
Yeah.
12 and 12 would be 24. So, yeah, 2.
That'd be weird.
I think there's 12-ounce bottles, right? I'm questioning beer bottle size. Like, I'm not fucking drinking forever. Jesus.
It's Mexican. You don't know.
It's a Mexican 12 ounces.
All right.
Speaking of Mexican 12 ounces, where'd that bottle opener go?
What is it? What does the bottle opener have to do with Mexican 12-ounce beers?
Because I'm trying to have one.
Okay. Sure. That makes
Not that they're
sense.
directly related, but it's preventing me from having delicious gold liquid.
Did you see my ad I put up today to hire somebody?
I did see your ad.
I see you didn't respond. You don't want to work for me? What the fuck, man?
Well, I saw it, and I immediately was just like, man, I wonder if I know anybody that
Nah.
comes to mind, but it's really just a part-time thing, huh?
I think my goal is to, I'm going to put another lift in here, and then 1 day a week or 2 days a week, I want to stack up a bunch of work so I can hire someone to come in and just fire it out. Easy work. Just mindless, get it done, no question asked, parts waiting for them, work.
Yeah. Because I saw it, too. It seemed like you were willing to kind of work with whatever experience level may or may not be, if it's the right person.
Well, that's
I
the
would
thing. Is,
assume.
so if it's somebody that's like crazy experienced, I'll try to put together 1 day a week where they show up and there's 6 cars outside and a pile of parts in here, and there's just no question, just install those parts.
Yeah,
Done.
and you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
we have
just
to trust
done.
them or not.
I'll work in the office. I'll work out here. I'll do other stuff, or I'll hire somebody 1 day a week or 2 days a week that doesn't know much, that I can be like, okay, pull that valve cover off
Yeah.
and sweep the floor while I'm working on this engine project over here,
Yeah.
or this fabrication project over here.
Basically let them kind of be like a prep and finish sort of do
Yeah.
bigger stuff.
Yeah. As of right
not a bad
now,
idea either.
where the business is, I think I could use either or of those. I think the more experienced person would be more challenging because I'd have to really schedule the cut and dry work
Yeah.
for that 1 day. But whatever, man, that's part of it. I'll just do it. I'll figure it
Yeah.
out. I'm sure there'd be some weeks where it'd be like they'd show up and I'd be like, just help me. This winter, it's 3 things. One thing is that door right there, it's going to get shut off. This is going to be their office. And then from that door forward is going to be my waiting room. I'm going to take all those tables out and stuff. I'll cram my desk in the corner, but then there's going to be a couch, a nice TV. It's going to be a nice waiting room. And then my other goal is in the shop, I want to add another lift, hire somebody part-time, and a couple other small things with organizing the shop. And then the third thing is I want to build a trailer. Did I tell you about the trailer I want to build?
You did tell me about the trailer you want to build.
Yeah, I want to build a trailer. There's one in New York right now. It's only $2,500.
That's not
It's
bad.
the exact trailer I want. I would still have to make the platform that I was talking about, the one that slides on and off the trailer.
Yeah.
But man, imagine if I had that, dude.
Dude, it'd be dialed. The
It'd be
trailer
so tight.
The trailer idea is legitimate.
Like,
I think it'd be awesome.
I don't even know like what could you charge? Like, say you had a slammed car, okay?
Yeah.
And you lived in Agawam and you needed it towed here. What do you think that tow's worth?
I mean, I can tell you.
Slammed car, you don't have to take your fascia off or anything.
I mean, I would say. I mean, you think, like a normal everyday tow company is going to hit you probably at least $100 just to hook up to it.
Yeah.
Just to hook up to it.
I think that's $150
that's.
tow.
I mean, $150 tow.
A specialized
that is a
slammed
it's probably
car.
a steal for $150.
So I was thinking about building that trailer and then just taking out a liability plan for like $250,000.
Yeah, have more
So that
than,
I could
more
tow
than enough
Ferraris
cover-
and
yeah,
stuff.
Have more than enough coverage.
And then advertise it. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I feel like one YouTube video showing that platform that I can winch on and off the trailer and just push a slammed car onto it, that's going to sell me to $100 degenerates with slammed cars.
Dude, be awesome.
I'll be towing stolen Civics left and right. They're gonna be like, "Is it enclosed?
Stolen Civics.
Can you put a tarp over it?"
Every single slammed drift car hanging around, wannabe drift car hanging around.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of those.
Yep. But I want the plate that comes on and off the trailer to be so low that you can just push the car onto it.
Hell yeah.
Just one hand, push it onto it.
One of my coworkers, man, his dad's got a completely modified E92 M3. He has, he pulls it with a trailer, but he's got these like race ramps to get it on. It's still a little bit of a project, man. I mean, that thing's as loaded. I mean, he legitimately has a cup car. That's what it is. It's like a Turner Motorsport cup car. The thing's phenomenal. It's the coolest fucking thing I've ever been in.
I had these ramps. I'm sure you got them at BMW, but I think they were called race ramps.
Yeah.
Bought them on the internet.
Super low profile.
And it was for the Corvettes, so I can get them on my lift. They were only about 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
But they were long.
Yep.
And it just brought it up 2 inches so I could just get the lift arms under the Corvettes.
Yeah. Whenever for Porsche, we had ramps and stuff like that to get Carrera GTs, 918s on lifts, and just wild.
That's in anything with, of course, those Corvettes, dummy fucking American cars. You just, the amount you would need to ride the clutch to get it to gently go up onto those 4 ramps.
There's no.
You know how many times I shot the ramp out like a fucking cannonball out the back of that car?
I can tell you right now.
Slipping the clutch out a little bit.
There is zero riding the clutch in a Carrera GT. I mean, that thing is so fun.
In or out. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, in terms of like road legal cars, maybe outside of like the LFA or something like that from Lexus.
Yeah.
That thing revs. When that thing revs, it's unbelievable how quick it revs and how much it sounds like an F1 car. I swear that clutch is like an on-off switch. That car wants to eat you alive. That was my interpretation of it. I was scared as hell driving that thing.
That's like those Corvettes, man. What are they like? I can't remember. They're like 700 horsepower? No, not 700.
600. 6 all day.
But 600 horsepower.
That's a lot.
And just
fairly lightweight car.
You know, people that eat KFC on the daily designed it, you know?
Yeah, the guy who still wears his high school ring.
Yeah, so it's like you let the clutch out and all that horsepower goes bang right to the ground.
I mean, in terms of bang for your buck, man, that car's
not really, dude. 100
for power though.
106 grand.
Nah, you can get a Corvette for like 60 with all that.
Yeah,
power.
well, if you want the
if
CO
you wanna,
whatever,
if you want to ball out,
that's
hard.
106 grand or 110 grand, I think, at this point.
But I
you
mean,
can get a naturally aspirated Stingray for 70, but it can't go around a corner.
One of my buddies is getting the hell is it? The Charger there. Was that Hellcat or a Demon?
No, that's not.
I think the Demon's the Challenger, right? My Dodge knowledge is not up to par, to be honest. But
yeah, the one that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's 700.
Yeah. He's getting the fucking nuts one.
The one that does a wheelie if you put drag slicks on it.
Did you see the new one they're coming out? The new Challenger? They have a new crate engine. It's a fucking crate engine. It's called the Hellefant.
And it's 50 state legal, I'm sure.
50 state legal, 1,000 horsepower. It is a crate motor. You can purchase it directly from the factory with a warranty. Good to go. 1,000 horsepower. Drop it in. I think it's $24,000.
Dude, I was listening today. Joe Rogan interviewed Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, I haven't listened to that podcast yet. I'm so excited for it.
It's a good one.
Good.
It's a good. It sent me on a roller coaster of emotions. I don't know, but
because it wasn't a very long podcast.
It wasn't, but it was
a little over an hour or something, right?
It was one of those ones where it really levels the playing field with famous people. You're like, fuck, that's just another human. Damn it.
You know what it is?
That guy's more fucked up than I am. God damn it.
You know what it is? I love that, man.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great.
I love that it drops him down.
That's the whole point of that podcast.
Dude, that's my favorite part about listening to that Rogan podcast,
oh, man.
Doesn't matter who the Obama, I mean, I'm going to say Obama, the president, anybody in a position of power can go on there, and you know he's going to ask him the same.
Oh, he's going to tear him up.
He's going to tear him up. He wants to know, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What's going on?
So one of the things he talked to him about was that he was like, he's like, don't you think there's a problem with the fact that any idiot with the money can go out and buy 1,000 horsepower vehicle and drive it on the street with pedestrians? And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is just like, you know what? I think I like my freedom to build whatever I want, so I think manufacturers should have that freedom as well. He's like, until it becomes a epidemic of a problem, I don't think it'll ever be regulated.
Yeah.
He goes, but if it's on the regular where these guys are just killing themselves, going 200 miles an hour on the street, yeah, the government will, just like anything that gets abused, the government will step in and
100%.
have a word about it.
100%.
But it's like, man, it's just so crazy.
I mean,
Think
that's
about
what led
that.
to the introduction of like traction control systems and all that shit. I mean, people just not being able to handle cars.
Dude, the people that came in and bought those Z06 Corvettes at the dealership, none of them. I looked at all of them and I go, that car's never gonna get driven, or it's never gonna leave third gear. Never. It's just a tax write-off for that guy. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean,
It's disgusting and it's scary because that car, that is a race car.
100%.
It says it. I remember, oh man, what was I doing? I was doing something, and I came across this bulletin that said, when that car is sold, it is the salesman's liable to tell the customer the tires that come on that car are track compound. They're sticky tires.
Yeah, you should not be driving those things below like 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep, you cannot. It is not safe to drive those cars. The car will slide all over the place. It'll have zero traction. It will not be even DOT approved below like 50 degrees. And I asked a few salesmen that sold these cars, $100,000. You know what your fucking commission is on $110,000, dude? It's fat. Like, did you tell them they're gonna buy a winter set of tires? They're like, what are you talking about? And I tell them, they're like, that's not my problem. I'm like, this dude could die. What are you talking about? This dude could die. Or he could come back in 5,000 miles, and his tires would be worn off totally because you didn't tell him how to handle this car.
When they were delivering those cars, I think a lot of them came in like Michelin, like Sport Cup 2s or whatever.
Well, they were straight track tires, man.
Well, there was like, legitimately, they were up in Canada because they delivered those things like fucking in the middle of winter up there, so it was ice cold. And they actually ran into a problem where they would roll the car onto cold pavement with cold tires, and the tires would literally crack.
Yeah.
And like fall off in chunks.
Yeah.
Because they're not meant to be to be that cold.
Same.
Even if you stored that car, it should be up on jack stands.
So you could get total carbon brake rotors.
Yes.
That's
They're
straight
phenomenal.
track.
Oh yeah,
that's straight track.
You don't need it to go get groceries.
We did it on a Camaro as a dealership option. It was $2,000, right?
That's actually a bargain.
That ain't bad, right?
No, ain't shit.
I go, just for the hell of it. But I asked my parts guy, I'm like, hey man, so if this guy wants to replace these brakes, what does it cost? He's like, oh, it's a $4,500 brake job. I'm like, so I asked the salesman, I'm like, did you tell him that if he has to get these brakes serviced, it's $4,500? He's like, no, why would I? I'm like, but why would you?
The guy might want to know ahead
of time. Like, dude, it's a $2,000 option on a loan.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. You got ceramic brakes, dude.
Always an extra $40 a month. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who cares? But you know,
$100,000 car. Who cares?
After he races it twice, he has to replace them.
Yeah. I mean, you could legitimately burn. I mean, I remember at Porsche. We went through like 3 different versions. Like, if there's a crack exceeding 10 millimeters, if you basically catch a fingernail in the crack.
Yeah.
And then eventually, we had like a special tool to measure like the carbon fiber density of the rotor.
See if it broke down or something.
Yeah, because you could burn it out. You could literally do a track day on carbon rotors. This is from what I was told. Like, if you drove the car hard enough, you could burn through a set of carbon rotors in a track day.
Yeah.
No different than burning through a set of slick tires, at a track day.
Yeah, man, that was nuts.
A set of Hoosiers could set you back, depending on your setup, could set you back almost $3,000 probably for those really sticky tires.
Yeah, but that was good. That was funny that Joe Rogan asked him that. You could just hear it in his voice that Joe Rogan's really concerned about the people being on the street with that kind of car.
He's a car guy too, man. He's got a couple different high-powered vehicles and things.
Yeah.
He's a Porsche guy too.
But how many years have people been out there with Lamborghinis and shit? It's like, it's never gonna stop.
It's never. You know what it is too? It's like people with like excess wealth, man, they don't have fucking time for you to try to regulate their lifestyle and their fun.
You put someone in a Ferrari that has 500 horsepower to the wheels, and you put someone in that stupid Dodge that has 1,000 horsepower with that crate engine, they're not gonna know the fucking difference. They don't know. They don't know how to drive.
Chances are, I mean, they're probably, like you said, they're probably not leaving fourth gear.
They
Once in a while, they're
yeah.
gonna do a sweet burnout.
Yeah, if they're gonna die, they're gonna die in second gear. Doesn't matter what car they're in.
Yeah, second or third gear, doesn't matter the car.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. They're gonna crash it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was, I mean, I went from a car with 200 horsepower to a car. I mean, my car now is 508 at the crank.
I couldn't do that.
I mean, it was frustrating. I mean, I was unintentionally going way faster than I needed to all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like to get up to 90 miles an hour was no big deal. And like, thankfully, my car came with an option to set a speed warning. So intelligently, it's super annoying.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Keeps you from getting a fucking speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Just having a license is a great thing.
That's the thing. I just really like driving, dude. Which is kind of humbling because it's cool because if I own slow shit, driving the shit out of it is
way more fun.
And it's not really that illegal.
100%. That's the best part about a slow car.
I think if I'm tapped out in my shop truck, I might be doubling the speed limit. Maybe. Yeah. Depending on the space I'm in. And I'm trying.
Yeah, even when I had the FRS, man, it was the thing was so slow.
Yeah.
That it was fun in corners because it felt quick. But I'd look down and I was like, I'm only 10 miles over the speed limit. And it feels like I'm a fucking...
Yeah,
it's like I'm in a rocket ship. It was great. It was all about how it feels.
Yeah, that's why I can't have fast things because I'll just...
well, because now it's... The issue is...
Out of the world.
You used to go out on back road rips and you think you'd having a good time. And now I realize I'm like, the reason you felt like you're having a good time is because like the limit where the grip left occurred at a much lower rate of speed because of what it was equipped with.
Yeah.
Now the car is so much more capable.
Yeah.
The only time...
But you're on the street where there's all these variables.
Yeah, and it's like...
In a slow car, there's not that many variables.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to take a chance in a car like mine. It's like...
No.
So now I really appreciate, the purpose of a track day.
Yep.
It's
a little patch of
it's,
sand or a little temperature difference in the pavement.
Dude.
Will just send your car
Fresh
going.
pavement
At 90 miles an hour, it'll send your car off the road.
I mean, we experienced it when we came back from Lime Rock. We hit fresh, oily, damp pavement. Yeah. And that car, my car just wanted to just slide. Immediately wanted to break loose in the rear. It's like you don't have to worry about that on a racetrack. I mean, there can be differences in pavements and textures and off camber, high spots, whatever the hell you want to run across. But it really, having the car I have now, I mean, really puts into perspective the value of doing it. Like autocross events, man, are cheap and they're easy to go do. Not the most fun.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold. I don't know why I'm not sold.
I don't mind it. I like them.
Parking lots and cones. I can't.
You got to go to an airstrip.
I can't. It doesn't matter. There's cones. I don't want to drive around cones. I don't want to do that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
No, I mean,
I think it's because I'm a degenerate and I like driving on the street. I like driving on the street.
Yeah.
I like real obstacles.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up. I'm a bad person. I drive.
One time a real obstacle was almost a deer for me, though. That made me nervous.
Well, that's why I won't get a motorcycle, man.
Ooh, I'm in the same boat. Can't get one. I know it's a bad idea.
Every time I tell myself, I'm like, all right, I'll ride it only at night and I'll only ride it in the country roads. And I'm like, well, then there's deer and moose.
See, every time I start looking at one, I'm like, I'll only buy a slow one, which is easy in terms of motorcycles. Like, I'll just get a slower motorcycle and I'll ride it early in the morning. Yeah. And I'll take it on country roads.
Yeah. Only coffee outings.
To a place I can go get breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I know immediately I'll be like, and then I'll trade it in, and I'll get a faster one, and then I'll get a faster one, and I'll be doing 140 down the highway going, this is a bad idea, and then it's a fucking wreck.
Yeah, no, I
don't have that level of self-control.
I have zero self-control.
And there's zero protection on it. There's no airbag. There's no safety system. Like, there's no way you're walking away.
Yeah, that's
without some luck.
Yeah, man, that's why I like the Jeep. It's slow. It's got a roll cage. It's got sheet metal around it. A 5-point harness. It's good.
I'm actually looking forward to firing up my winter.
Yeah. So when you calling it quits on the M3, dude? You're cutting it close here.
We're cutting it super close. I think I'm actually going to keep it out probably the weekend. I'll probably put it away on the 18th of this month. I'll probably get it in for one last service. I got a couple things I got to get done on it under warranty. And I'll probably tuck it away, hook it up to a battery charger, get the tire pressures jacked up, and store it.
What's your winter machine? A Passat?
It is a 2002 Jetta wagon,
Oh.
and I couldn't be more excited with a 2.0 motor. It is so slow, but I tell you what, it's got heated seats.
Ooh.
It's got heated seats, heated cloth seats.
That's good.
Halfway-
Cloth seats.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't catch on fire.
Yeah, but they work a lot faster than the leather.
Yeah,
Instant.
fucking
warmth.
instantaneous warmth. So I'm actually looking forward to driving what basically is going to make me look like a history teacher,
That's fine.
which
dude.
is fucking.
You should just for the hell of it on the back in the back door, like the oh shit handle. You should hang a button up white tee or white shirt
Oh man,
right there, just to
It's-
make
it's
sure
funny
you
too,
look
'cause,
like a teacher.
The fenders are a different color than the car is blue, but it's got black fenders on it. 'Cause They
Yeah.
started to rust out. So we
Well, if
replaced
you had
the
an
front
$800 a month student loan, that's what you'd be driving.
100%,
So
100%.
that's
But
solid.
I was thinking about just getting like a cruising for a bruising sticker on it because it looks like you're black and blue. So I'm like, fuck it. I was thinking about throwing a baby, what the fuck do you call it? A child seat, and it just to play up the fact that it's a wagon.
So I think that's where you're gonna get your first DUI is gonna be in that car.
I don't think so, man.
That's what I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah. They're
It's,
gonna see that car and they're gonna be like, this guy.
It's fucking degenerate.
This guy's on his way back from Vermont with 700 hits of acid in the glove box. We're pulling this guy over.
They're for sure.
Lo and behold, it's just a black dude that just drank 2 beers at
Yeah.
dinner.
It's gonna be it. Yeah, literally. Like really. Like, it's gonna be me coming out of work, and every day I'm gonna get stopped as soon as I touch
Every day. In the same
single
spot.
day. Just same cop too. Same cop. Just like, oh, you again? Yep. License registration. Dude, we did this
man.
yesterday. Like, well, new day, man.
Shit,
New
that's
fucking
gonna be
day.
funny as hell.
You know what's funny, man? I haven't been stopped in a car.
I don't want to jinx myself, man. It's been
Yeah,
years.
dude. I'll knock on wood right now. I think it's been close to 4 years. Actually, wait. I got the
Yeah.
2013 was the last time I was stopped. So it's been 5 years.
Whoa.
End of March of 2013 was the last time I was stopped by a cop in my vehicle.
I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I've been pulled over.
I've still never had a ticket.
It's weird. The moment I bought a decent vehicle, I never got pulled over again.
You know what? I came to a conclusion too, because when I had the Volkswagen, I got pulled over all the time. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was all that sketchy of a car, but apparently it was. And then I got the FRS, and I got pulled over a couple times, like the week I bought it. And I think that was more because it was like a brand new car. It literally hadn't been on the market that much.
That thing looks like a race car.
It looks like a race car, so I think I was getting stopped more out of curiosity, more so than like potentially breaking the law.
Hey, maybe because you're a black dude in a nice,
Or
good-looking car. What's up?
That's for sure happened. I've definitely mentioned it to a couple officers that week that stopped me.
Yeah.
However, one thing I've noticed is in the M3, I mean, that thing, you've heard that thing. It makes a ton of noise.
Yeah.
Never been stopped. And I assume it's because
it's a BMW,
I think it's
man.
because it's a BMW. Part of me, everybody used to tell, everybody does tell me that I kind of look like a drug dealer when I'm driving around in it.
I wouldn't go that
I would.
far.
I wouldn't go that far. My windows
don't
aren't tinted.
know.
Nothing looks sketchy. It's a brand new car. But I get it. It's
Yeah.
like I get it. It's like they're making the joke. They're like, oh, hey, you're a black guy in a BMW.
It's 2018, man. Drug dealers can't buy nice cars.
Yeah, no.
The IRS is on that shit. Let's be real here. I'm a businessman. I know about this.
Yeah, you need like a fucking Hyundai accent or some shit.
Yeah, but you're real
From, like, 2003.
good drug dealer.
Yeah, man. You got to be killing the game.
You gotta have washing companies and shit.
And if you're killing the game like that, shit.
You deserve a BMW. Yeah, good for you.
You deserve a BMW, but for sure the cops know exactly who you are.
Yeah,
It ain't no secret. But
Yeah,
I've always been surprised I never got pulled. I haven't, yet to be pulled over in that car. I think it's because they just assume like, oh, he's a BMW educated guy. They don't really want to stop me for some bullshit anyway.
Lo and behold, I think since I became a mechanic and I became aware of making sure, I don't know, all my lights work.
Everything.
Brakes. And I have mirrors.
Inspection sticker.
And an inspection sticker.
Yeah.
Pretty simple things.
My window tints are legal if I have them.
Yeah. So since I figured that out, weird. I haven't been harassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I don't
Funny how that works.
Yeah, window tints are even if they're legal, they definitely make you in some cases.
Yeah,
can make or break the car, make it in terms of making you look sketchy. Volkswagen looked very sketchy because it was all murdered out.
My Chevy's
black on black on black on black.
Supposedly legal tint, but I've never ever even been looked at. I don't know. It's a normal vehicle.
Yeah.
The Ranger. I just did something to incriminate myself in the Ranger. Everything was all good and dandy. It's lowered a little bit.
Yeah, but it's a pickup.
I put cherry bomb on it, so it sounds like a Honda Civic. But the one thing I did recently was I put one of those modules into the third brake light.
Oh, yeah.
So it blinks.
Oh, yeah, like an F1 car.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Dead excuse to pull me over.
Well, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't drive my car like a dick because it's bright and blue.
Oh, yeah.
It stands out. It's like, man, if you think they can't find me in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But my reasoning was...
better off driving around in the Jetta.
All the leased companies were starting to require that you put those modules in. It was a insurance thing for them. They wanted to make sure your brake lights flashed.
Actually, no, I don't have flashing brake lights, but I have adaptive brake lights, where there's another set of brake lights that come on. I mean, like if you're a full stand, like you're trying to avoid, hitting little Timmy in the road or whatever the fuck, you have your normal brake lights. If you're standing on it, there's another set of brake lights that come on, and they are significantly brighter.
Really?
I mean, blindingly bright. Like there is no way you cannot see these things.
That's awesome.
So if you're in an emergency,
I would rather that. That's cool.
It becomes very apparent. And I mean, I've seen those things activated, and even, broad daylight. It's 80 degrees in July or whatever the hell.
It's bright.
I mean, it'll stand out. You'll know immediately you need to stand on your brakes as well.
That's cool.
So, yeah, they don't flash or anything, which I wish they did, but, yeah.
It draws a lot of attention.
It does draw a lot
of attention. But I thought it looked so cool that I just did it anyway.
But I don't think it's a bad modification. I feel like that's an increase in safety. Because the blinking will get somebody's attention sometimes.
Lease companies were requiring us to install them. They didn't want the cars leaving the lot without them.
It's not a bad move.
So
it's really not.
But I don't know if it's legal or illegal. I don't know.
I don't think it's weird because Massachusetts is technically a really hard state for any sort of modification.
I noticed all new ambulances and fire trucks have them. So
can't hurt.
But those are safety vehicles. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Backup cameras are standard now too.
All right, dog. I'm losing my voice.
Yeah. What time is it?
Get this done.
Yeah, we can do part 2.
What time is it?
Oh man, I hope my watch is wrong.
Fucking
I believe that says
watch.
11:30.
It's 11:30.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no.
Now I'm really worried.
Anyways. All right, well, this is Built Freeze podcast number 2 with the Bryant Young. We talked about car dealerships, and I forgot to hit record on the race car part. So we'll get back to that next time.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. I guess we'll close this out with that.